We have a YCS happening right now, and I want to talk about the overall early impact that I don't think people are going to fully grasp just yet. That is Darkling Blast. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I want to talk about the impact you're going to see on Darkling Blast this weekend and how a lot of people are going to just kind of fumble the ball this weekend because they're not going to be ready for the general impact. There are always going to be players out there that are going to not understand a shift in the metagame this huge, all right? Like, trust me, the Ishizu cards are an amazing jump in the right direction, wrong direction more like it, in the metagame, but the problem is you jump from what was pre-Darkwing Blast to Darkwing Blast to the Ishizu cards. We're right now at this interrupting step here, where you see these Bystial cards come into the format, which are now interruptions for quick play, removing light and dark monsters from the opponent's graveyard. I guarantee you a lot of people entering in this weekend, they're going to be like, oh, like Bystial cards. I don't think a lot of people are going to have these yet. And then all of a sudden you're going to see Saronir, Druis Worm, and Magnamut. And then, Lubellion, who searches all of these with the branded cards in combination with some of these older strategies. A lot of people are just going to be kind of dumbfounded when they see this. The advantage of being on the internet and kind of reading ahead is you kind of have an idea what's going to happen here. And obviously the people that are able to pick up these cards, they will see the impact of these. So start things off here. As I said, you're going to see that dragon, or what would you call them? The power of these new dragons, these anti-light and dark combo pieces, going to tear through a lot of people, and they're going to be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And then to kind of ramp things up a little bit more here, there is the Fenrir problem here. Now, the reason why I specifically mentioned Fenrir is I've seen this card get cratered off the market. It's not even Saturday afternoon fully here. And what was it? Yesterday or today? There were 9 listings of Fenrir on the market, and they were like at a $50 price point, which is crazy to me. But since we're talking about, the impact of Darkwing Blast, you now have a card that reads, "Hi, I'm Discount Brankatrops. All right, I love banishing cards face down." And your opponent's like, I guarantee you, a lot of people are going to look at this card and they're going to be like, oh, how good is Fenrir? Like, how much do I need to, like a special summon extender on a level 7? Who cares about that? Yeah, I mean, the fact that it is a level 7 that can beam itself out, but it can search for itself for the next turn, first of all. All right, and when it declares an attack or you activate an effect, I can target any of your face-up cards and banish it face down. All right, let's take a moment to understand the application of specific spot removal options here. Oh, okay. Did you think hard enough on that? All right, the answer is Fenrir is a crazy card, man. And the fact that I know that the Yu-Gi-Oh community is going to take a look at this card and they're going to go, I don't need to worry about Fenrir. It's complete and crazy ignorance to me at the end of the day. I guarantee you, Fenrir and Magnamut are going to be 2 of the cards that are going to kind of steer the YCS in the new direction this weekend, just because of like how crazy powerful that they are. All right, it's amazing to me that Yu-Gi-Oh players are just like, no, I don't need to worry about this, and it's just like, oh, come on, Sprite just got a huge power up. Did you know that special summoning Fenrir and then any Sprite monster is still full combo? I mean, essentially any Sprite monster is still full combo, but now if I go ahead and start off with Fenrir and then go Sprite. Oh, speaking of Sprite, they got Sprint now, which now opens up the door to something that's not the Runic build, which is actually quite nice. I will say that having the potential to incorporate the Nimble package into your deck is pretty funny, all right? Being able to go Sprint, drop a Nimble Angler, and you're like, oh, well, okay. What's the Nimble Angler do? It summons some more friends from the deck so you can put an additional body on the field so you can do your thing. I think that in and of itself is definitely something you kind of got to keep a little bit of an eye on with this deck. Now, I'm not saying that the Runic build is, going to fall to the wayside by any stretch of the imagination. No, I think the Runic build still might be a step ahead, because if you're putting the Nimble package into the deck, you might end up seeing one of those dead draws somewhere along the way, and especially if you're playing what 9, 10, 11 round event at the end of the day, you're going to run into some potential bricks along the way, and that's just how consistency works. I do think there were a couple people that were talking about trying Sprint in the runic package, but I think a majority of the comments I read from people was it felt very suboptimal in that regard. So I do think that might be a hit or miss, depending on the build, but Sprite definitely did get some power-ups. I guess I got to talk about the Vernal Sif. I guess Vernal Sif anything, which means Earth, Earth Machine, Madolche, actually. I don't know how relevant, like, Madolche actually can be, but the thing is, like, you now have a huge fairy monster that says, if you control 5 Earth monsters, negate things. You also can take your opponent's monsters and make them Earth. Well, guess what? You've now got in-house Earth synergy for the rest of the Madolche deck, which effectively is Earth, which is kind of nice. Duck's going to be an amazing card for you. It's going to come down to how much of that surprise factor you can actually get off of your opponent playing, how much of the Vernal Sif package in it. Now, the problem is I guess going to be, it's going to just honestly come down to how well that surprise factor is going to come, and if you've optimized your deck yet. Because honestly, I could see Madolche for this one event actually being good enough to top 64. Strictly because, one, it's a Madolche. Two, now that you have the Vernal Sif stuff, you can really mess up your opponent a lot easier. A lot more interruptions, and I mean, you got a new level of consistency going for you there. Those two things can really make or break a particular strategy. So I'm definitely excited about that. I guess I should mention Draco Slayer as well here. Quick TLDR on Draco Slayer. Standard combo deck. It's still pendulums at the end of the day. I've seen the really cool ideas that come out of this. I do think that there is something here. How consistently will it turn over? I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. I want to be surprised with that, so I'm not going to go too far into that, but I do hope for something out of that. So what else does that leave? I did put some pretty big hype on Naturia for this event. I do hope that Naturia can take the world by storm. I think that would be awesome. You might have to wait for the Ishizu package for that to happen. Let's have a little bit of patience for that. And then there's Labyrinth. I got to mention Labyrinth here because there's going to be at least 3 people that are going to comment and going to be like, Robbie, you didn't mention Labyrinth? What is wrong with you? Honestly, I think Labyrinth, in the general sense, it is a rogue strategy. Is it better than Madolche with Vernal Sif cards? I don't think so. Trap decks do have an overall potential to do well, but it's really going to depend on things. Oh, how could I forget Tier for this weekend? You now have Screech, or Tier Elements Scream. I always call it Screech because I think the card is amazing. You can now chain block Reno Heart and get a mill 3. Awesome! Cool! That's like the best card in the set. And then, you got Ruru Kalos, as we're going to call her. It was Lulu Kalos in Japanese for her name, but we decided to go with that for whatever reason. So, yeah, Tier is looking like the best projected deck out of the weekend. Robbie, you didn't mention Ninja, Goaty, even like For Hire. Everything in this set actually looks pretty decent, all right? You do have to understand, like, the main point of making this video was people are going to enter into this YCS. They're going to look at cards like, the Bysteel cards, and they're going to play ignorance to them because they're going to be like, oh, I don't need these. And then they're going to get 2-0'd into the curve because they're going to be like, oh, like Fenrir's busted. Yeah, of course Fenrir's busted. All right, everything of this set changes in the game. Makes this game, we've now power crept up 1 notch here. And that's like the point I wanted to say here was like, watching this YCS this week and seeing like whatever matchups and things will come out of this, be aware of, that these cards do make a difference on the game. This is one of the most impactful sets in a while. Is it Power of the Elements impactful? No. But it is literally 1 notch below Power in fine-tuning those strategies. And this is a good example of what we need as a power-up set to make this game a lot more tolerable. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment about, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.